Welcome back to another episode, and today we start with the interview season itself, and there's no more time for any more classes or anything around this. We're gonna start with the interview part, preparation, and we had our first meeting last week. Only a couple of people show up, and I think it was beneficial to them. So we continue doing this every 2 weeks, and the more the merrier. I think it just benefits you, not much me. So hopefully more people shows up. And I believe at the beginning there were some problems to GoToMeeting link, but we made it work, and it was a good hour that we had a good conversation with the applicants that were there. And now let's start with what we discussed on that first meeting. So hopefully this is useful to you. And if you didn't make it, we're going to talk about the same that I talked to these guys that day. In terms of the interviews, virtual versus in person. The most places I know, they continue to be virtual. I haven't heard of any places that are doing in person yet. So if you hear of any or you're invited to an in person, let me know, and maybe I can find out from them. I can just contact some residents or some people that work at places that know these places, and I can find out more. Scores remain the main screening part, the main screening factor for to grant an interview, followed by personal statement. Believe it or not, personal statement seems to be a very important factor, and I was discussing this with a friend who is preparing to interview this season, and he told me that most of the people that he works with or he has met, and also for me the same is true, that the personal statement has a big impact on setting up the tone for the interview and setting up an idea if I really want to pay attention to this person and what he has to say. So yes, you had a good, very personal, very memorable personal statement, then you probably start with a good situation happening in your interview. Like he's gonna be more interested. He's gonna be all ears on what you have to say. He's really gonna look at your strengths rather than at your weakness. If your personal statement had something that we can work with, like we can work with your professionalism, with your eagerness to work and teach residents or students. So maybe it was something memorable in your personal statement. And I say this because this season I made a lot of personal statements for people that that trusted us for this service. And I'm not saying that your personal statements are bad, but I know, for example, I know the system. I know the residency application process, the system, because I was part of it. I was a resident, and I went through all the parts. I was very involved on the residency interview process. So I know the system. I know what we talk about behind the scenes on how are we going to select among 2,000, 3,000 people. How are we going to select for 10, 12? And you will be surprised that it's very subjective. It's very unfair sometimes, that just by a simple memory of this person wasn't really very eloquent, or he wasn't very articulate, or he wasn't very convincing, or his personal statement didn't match the person, then little things will either make you or break you. So to this point, the personal statement seems to have more weight than the letter of recommendation, and especially since we all know, it's not a secret, that applicants make their own some of them make their own personal or letter of recommendations. And we know this, it's a common thing, it's all over, and it's easy to catch. Why? Because uh, if you have had a good relation with the attending that you were shadowing, and he really took a time to write a letter for you, this person will describe very personal things, not you as a person, but situations that create an impression on him, on your medical knowledge, on your caring for patients, on your kindness. No much about, oh, how smart you are. He demonstrated to be very smart. He demonstrated to be among the best, I don't know, service I ever had. He demonstrated being able to carry a conversation with family members. No, there's a different way to say this, and it's too late to to overthink about this. Every process has been done. You have submitted your papers, so let's move forward. Um, do never accept that you wrote your own letter of recommendation. You said, that's my letter of recommendation. I waive my rights and move on. Okay, so for applicants that are 5 years or older after graduation, the most important thing remains to have connections. So if for some reason you're applying without connections, I wish you the best luck, but keep in mind, connections are the way to get in through this screening part process, which is the years of graduation. So work on that. Next, Zoom or GoToMeeting are the two most popular platforms for interviews. So if you can get familiar to it, or I can give you just the advices. These two applications, GoToMeeting and Zoom, if you wait till the last minute of your interview to open the link, it may not open directly in a browser window. It will open, always it will open if you download the application to your phone or to your computer. So just take it from me, Zoom or GoToMeeting are the options that we're using the most. They need you to download the application version. Some people get it to work on the browser, but on that day, if for some reason it doesn't play on your browser, hopefully you have the app ready and you don't get late to your meetings. Yes, a word of caution. Interviews remain 15 to 20 minutes. And remember, in these applications, GoToMeeting or Zoom, we set the room for 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And at the end of those 15 minutes, the room just closes. It's not that we keep going. So you have to use your time to the best of your benefit. Open houses are great options. If you're invited to an open house and it happens that you're also invited to an interview at that open house, you can bring it up. You can say, oh, I was present at your open house, at your virtual open house. And it's a good opportunity to get to know who are the people interviewing, because of all the faculty that are mentioned in the website. Not all of them will interview. Only 3 or 4 of them will interview. Some of the residents will interview, but you will never get to know which one is the resident that will interview you. So open houses are great options. You may not have a very direct one-to-one discussion with the people that are in the open houses, but at least you are there. You can say later that you were there and bring up things that you liked. Like during the conversation, you can say, "Oh, what during your open house, I was very impressed when you mentioned the involvement of the residents with the local nursing homes, and I thought that's something I would like to ask you more about, because one of the things that I see in my future happening for me is to be involved in SNF work." Now, for those that don't know about this, sniff is the way we pronounce SNF, which is the abbreviation for skilled nursing facility. And as a resident, you will have to see patients at the skilled nursing facility aside of your duties at the hospital or out at the outpatient clinic. You will still have to go to a skilled nursing facility to see patients there. So once you graduate, people that are independent practice can still go see patients at a nursing home. Why? Because it's another source of revenue. It's a change of setting. It's a different kind of population, and a lot of doctors enjoy it. So it is very common for internal medicine and family practice doctors to continue to do sniff work even after residency. So keep an eye for that. Okay, and I just want to talk briefly about the light, microphones, computer versus phone. Light, if you can afford to pay for a light, great. Buy one of those ring lights, $15, $20. Great use of money. It brings up your face a little more bright than, for example, this light which is above my head. People like it. Yes. There's a benefit of showing or being in a room that's well lit and makes you look nicer. So yes, beauty is power, I guess. So I would say yes, buy the light. Microphones, I use a microphone. I don't know how, I believe it makes a difference, but I don't know if it does. So people don't comment on my videos. So if you think it does, just just comment there and say maybe it does. So some people will get this guidance for it. Computer versus phone, both of them work well, but I will choose the phone because, for example, my iPhone 12 has a better camera resolution than my Apple Mac. So I rather use my phone if I have a very important meeting to go, because it looks nicer. It shows me, I can show my shoulders, a part of my chest and face at the same time without, weirdly moving up, back and forth. And you may need a tripod for that. So I would choose iPhone or a phone. I think the iPhone has the best camera around. I don't know about Samsungs or Androids, but I'm very happy with how it shows on my iPhone. Next one, attire. Very simple to this question. Just make it simple. For guys, make it simple with a white shirt, a blazer of any color, like blue or black, not any color, just blue, black, or gray, and a tie, a regular slim fit tie, and one color like red, blue. Don't do black ties. Don't do weird color ties. And keep it very simple, because one thing I know about Americans is that what we like in our cultures on South America, Asia, Europe, of very, very fancy or very with some details, extra details around. They don't like much here. They like to keep it simple. So I would say try to do that. Try to keep it simple, but it's up to you. Grooming. For male, facial hair is a no, and people are not gonna ask you, hey, are you gonna keep your beard through residency? Why? Because it could be your culture, your religion, and we cannot ask things about those aspects. But remember when COVID started, people or hospitals mandated to have all facial hair removed for everyone, for the N95 mask to properly fit and seal. So it may come as a concern because we still have to use N95 masks. So for this interview, for males, just shave completely. There's no problem with that. It's just one time. Who cares? It's more important to get into residency than to, I don't know, keep your beer for any reasons. I don't want to disregard your, I don't know, religion or culture, but this is war. We need to get in. Okay, for female, just the only thing is don't have bangs hanging in your face. That's it. Very simple light makeup. All right, we're not gonna waste more time on this. So now let's go straight to the interviews. What the purpose of the interviews is. So the interview, bottom line, there is no right answer. There's no right format on how to answer a question. But remember, the reason for the interview is not for we don't have a set of questions that we want to ask you, or like we have to check or go through to make sure that you're a good person or a smart person. It's more about feeling that you are a good person, that you're a person that we can work with. And try to do the best to hide your weirdness. Try to do the best to show that you are a kind person, a fun person. So there's bottom line, there's no right answer. We just want to gauge who you are as a person, and we want to make sure that the person matches the personal statement, because we also know that people get their personal statements done by someone else, and sometimes things are overly presented on a personal statement. So read your personal statement and make sure you know every story that has been created on that personal statement. I know that because I created some stories, or I adjusted some stories on personal statements to make it look, the way that we like to hear a story here. All right. So continue with the interviews. The only question I'm gonna give you today is that is gonna come for sure is the tell me about yourself. For tell me about yourself, there's no right answer, but remember you only have 15 minutes. So whoever tells you this is the format that you have to use, they are maybe harming your opportunities, because any structure takes at least 3 or 5 minutes. So the way I like to keep answers for any answers is for the for the tell me about yourself question is give something memorable first, then give what you're doing today or right or around this time, and give a little bit of what you do outside of medicine, because we want to connect. And it's not just about what are you doing as a doctor, but also tell me a little bit about yourself as a person. So I would say something like something memorable. I am the last of 8 children in my family. None of them are doctors. I'm the first doctor, and currently I'm doing an observership at the Mount Sinai in New York in internal medicine, where I'm learning a lot. And outside of medicine, I am a runner and a gardener. And those are things that I like to continue doing while on residency. That's it. To me, that's it. You can add a little bit more in what are you currently doing. Like you can say, I'm currently doing an observership at the XY clinic or hospital, and my main academic focus, and I want you to say my main academic focus is, you can add whatever academic focus is, but if you're going to primary care, I would like you to mention that your main academic focus is either palliative care, either community involvement, women health, and geriatric care, hospice care, those things that are very important for internal medicine and family medicine. And there are more. I can tell you more, but I'm just giving you ideas right now. Okay, but I like you to use the my main academic focus, because it tells me a lot about you. And well, you may not understand those 2 words, but we use it a lot here on when we meet to describe residents' performance. their academic focus, and how are we going to benefit their stay here with us. But okay, lastly, I would like you to find your angle. So remember, this is, we want to make sure that the person is going to work with us, hopefully stays with us, working as a primary care doctor, not necessarily as pursuing a very fancy specialty, but hopefully working as part of the primary care workforce as a primary care doctor. So choose your angle. Say, do you like geriatric care? Like, you know that internal medicine and family practice medicine have a big component of the elderly population. So you know that, and you're okay with that. It may seem that you like to work with geriatric patients. So bring it up. Why? Because if you say that, I'm gonna feel comforted that you know that your next 3 years are gonna be full of geriatric patients. And it's easier to work with someone that wants to do it than with someone that, oh, I really like only to treat patients that are between 20 and 30. In my mind, I'm like, those are not sick. They're never coming to the hospital. So why are you even thinking about that? So find your angle. If you like to work the end of life, it's palliative care. And it's great to say that even if you go to primary care, like internal medicine or family practice, you want to work with the end of life, because that is what makes a great primary care doctor. Okay, that's all I have for today. I actually have way more than this, but I'm reserving this for, for all the people I have to train or coach this week. But I don't want to leave people without information. So hopefully this was useful to you. If you have time and you can spare money, book an appointment with us. If not, good luck. Next video comes next week after the second appointment we have with everyone. Well, thank you.